Guys, Koi here. Today we're going to be talking about the best way to actually do EXP farming AFK. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and stop my little macro here. I think that's my command to stop it, I believe. I shouldn't attack anymore. Okay, so to use this macro, as you can see, I've been on this specific stage for about 3 hours. You have to use the glitch that originally people used to get high levels incredibly quickly, and this can match as well with specifically that EXP share as well. Like if you have one character and you know a character that can one-shot these enemies with one attack or with like a special skill, then you should be totally fine. This should be like a walk in the park. As you can see, we're going to go ahead and pretty much quit right here as I pretty much explain how I do this tidbit. And let's just see the EXP. So EXP in this mode specifically is kind of just delivered by damage. So let's see, we're getting Luffy all the way up. I originally did use this method a long time ago to get my Itadori up, but then after my Itadori got just strong enough to handle content by himself, it's not about getting them to max level. It's more along the lines of getting them to pretty much. Hang on, I'm just gonna mute this real quick. This is super loud. Okay, so like the whole point is to get them to right a significant level to where you could pretty much main these characters and you never have to worry about like damage output on the end game content, which normally is like around level 50. Then after that, level 40, level 50 with your character, you could normally get their evolution, and then you could pretty much use them to farm whatever. And to use this macro, all you have to do is just get this thing called Tiny Task. I'll link it down in the description below. It's super easy to use, and I'll show you guys how I use it right after we pretty much get through all this EXP overload of what's actually going on here. Uh, but yeah, so the EXP is just insane from this specific mode. This is the only way you could really do this grind. I was gonna let it go overnight, but seeing that I have some other things to do, uh, that it's more relevant if I just did it after 3 hours, and then just kind of see where I am from there. And as you can see, we're going from like in the 30s all the way to past 50. So that's pretty impressive. Tiny Task itself is a pretty useful tool. The tool itself it can mimic and pretty much copy what you do in two different ways. There's one that has the macro editor version, and then there's one that has the version that I use, which is the recorder version. And the recorder version and the macro version, the only difference between these two very specific programs is the fact that the macro version does allow you to pretty much set a standard time and a very specific command. Let me see if I can show you guys what that kind of looks like. Uh, Here, I'll switch screens while we still while we still wait for the damage to just kind of finish up. Oh, there we go. Never mind. Hang on. We'll just click out of this. As you can see, 54. Impressive. I might leave this overnight just to get straight to 90, and then just like 99, and just like why not? Because no, it just sounds interesting. All right. Also, the damage. Look at that, million damage. Woo! And the kills, the repeated kills, you get a lot of gems from that too. That is insane. So Luffy now is level 54. Very, very impressive. I do have his ability in SS right now. I do have Vampire on him, and I do have some decent stats on him. The only thing I don't have that's good right now is Strength. You don't get anything besides the EXP for using this unless you finish the Crusade. But now I'm going to show you guys pretty much how to do it. So there are two different ways that you can do it. Let me just go ahead and switch this to my main screen. We'll do something like this, yeah. So screen one. So this is what it looks like whenever you're actually using the macro editor version of it. When you guys get the link from in the description below. But the version I use is this one right here, Tiny Task, a very very tiny version of what this one is. This one, it is for Windows and as for Apple. If you do use Apple, sorry about that. Okay, so the way that this works is you use your preferences. You're going to want to keep the playback speed at ×1. Don't mess with this. Don't mess with any speed options. We're not trying to like super macro click or anything like that. What we're trying to aim for is we're trying to do continuous playback. This is something you have to turn on anytime that you turn on your computer. And what continuous playback means is that it's going to do it continuously until program is stopped. And you also want to set up your recording hotkey. Mine is F8 because F8 does not do anything for me. And then playback history is the Control Shift Alt P. You can set it to the Control Shift Alt R. It just makes it easier using those specific keys. And then also the rest of these are pretty much irrelevant. Now, as you can see, this one is a little more easier because you could just set everything. So hold, release, and then delay between the hold and the release. And then just set it for just continuous playback. And then that's the easier version of doing it. Do I think that that one's better? I don't know. Because I'm going to show you how I do it and then just how you should be doing it. So let's go ahead and head back into Crusade. First thing about Crusade is you have to understand that you do, for the original thing that you have to do to get the EXP rolling and such. I'm just going to go ahead and switch this back to the game so we don't get any stutters or anything like that. But to get this, you have to actually surpass specifically the very early stages, as you can see. So we're just going to go ahead and kill these guys off. I am bad at killing people. Okay, here we go. Let's see. And you could start off with these Marines and just keep this dude alive. This is like the one method you can do for early game characters. Let's say some characters that you know don't do very significant damage or won't get very far. They'll always spawn right here. So then all you have to do is just set up the macro, which I will show you how to do, and then boom, you kill them instantly. The only difference is right now, we're just going to go ahead and blast on past these dudes. Just the windmill and everything like that. Luffy's amazing. I got incredible stats on him. If you guys don't get like really good stats, then that's where you're going to have a hard time. Because stats do matter quite a bit in this game. So let's go ahead and blast through all these dudes. Let's see. There we go. Come on. One more. Let's see. Okay, so right here, now we are on the Namek Saga, which is the one that I prefer using. And there is another one that you can use, which is uh not Demon Slayer, what's the other one called? Attack on Titan one. If you want to go down that route, the only difference is the minor EXP difference, but uh I think if I am going to do it, I might as well go all the way with my characters because my characters are already towards that max level point. So I'm just going to go ahead and get there. Let's see. We're just going to get rid of Ginyu. We're just going to get rid of like everybody. And we're going straight to Attack on Titan. After Attack on Titan, you have to keep in mind, after Attack on Titan, you're not going to be able to get this type of spawn ever again. Because what's going to happen is, after Attack on Titan, the spawns go random. They get like weird. And they don't go exactly the way you think they would. Which is kind of weird. But yeah, this is like the last Namek spawn right here on Frieza. So, if you guys do think that you're not going to be able to get too far past these guys, and you think that this is probably the first you could get, then that's probably the method that you actually want to go with, due to the fact that, you don't want to force your character to struggle, because if your character struggles in any way, shape, or form, that is going to end up forcing your character to even mess up the macro himself. And if he messes up the macro, then, what are you going to do after that, man? Like, you can't do anything after you mess up the macro, and you're never going to know because you're probably going to be AFK. And by the time you do notice, it's going to be over. So as you can see right here, we got Titans, and my AoE skill is just big enough to where I could hit these guys no problem at all. Boom. So to set up the macro, all you do is you go back to those playback keys that I showed you. So I'm going to go ahead and record right now with F8. I'm going to use my skill. I'm going to wait. And after I wait, you got to wait for him to blow the whistle again. And then go back to the exact same moment that you were just at. All right, he spawned him back in. Now we press F8 again. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and press the activation key, which you can set up. Boom, that's my activation key. Now, my activation key is going to be, I like to use the Shift Control Alt P because it just feels a lot easier to use. Now, the problem with these guys, right, is that there is a chance that one, they either push the creature. This doesn't happen with any of the other guys, by the way, like not the Namekian guys or anything like that. This literally just has to do with this very, very specific boss. Because of the fact that the Titans have a really weird hitbox. So if you are playing with a character that is very, very weak, I would very much suggest, like, doing lower level characters like the pirates or even the Namekians, like the Namek Saga Frieza grunts, because I don't think it's worth the struggle of waking up and noticing that your character is either dead or your character just was never hitting anything to begin with. As you can see right here, that whole body thing where like you're getting body pushed by like these characters, this you kind of want to make sure that you time this completely right. If you don't time it right, then it's gonna just suck. And there are ways that you can get past this, such as instead of going based off of when they're gonna spawn, we're going to go ahead and shut this off real quick. We're going to go like this, and then we're just going to go based off the actual, the cooldown of the actual thing. So we're going to go right here, wait for it, 3, 2, 1, record, click, boom, and then we're going to go 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, boom. And then now we have that. Now we have that recorded. All right, now we're going to go based off that 8 seconds. So boom, he's going to go 8 seconds. He's going to swing early, but this is going to make sure that he's going to swing as often as possible. The lower the cooldown move, the better the cooldown, because then you never really have to worry about it. As you can see, he's just going to keep swinging. Boom, what is this? Perfect timing. Boom, they're all dead because now he's working at a shorter SPA. If you guys don't know SPAs, that is a tower defense. That just has to do with tower defenses. If you ever seen tower defense, that's just how often a character attacks. And this is just perfect because this 8-second cooldown, boom, has less risk for my character than waiting for the boss to do its thing. The only problem with this is that, stamina consumption. You do have to take into consideration that stamina consumption might be a problem later on down the line, which, is inevitable. And if stamina consumption you think is going to be the problem, because Luffy's a stamina eater. This dude eats stamina like crazy. So for me, this is very, very bad for me. So you could add a little bit of delay. Like you could be like, okay, this is good, but I low-key want them to like stop at, let's say, 10 seconds, every 10 seconds. Instead, he's going to throw out his rubber hammer, or find a different move that you think has one shorter of a cooldown and less of a stamina cost. For instance, rubber missile, boom. Let's just go ahead and run through all my stamina real quick and just kind of see where we are. So looks like 8-second cooldown, 8-second cooldown. The only difference is it looks like rubber spin only costs 20. This only costs 35. My final ability only costs 25. And just kind of go based off that too. For instance, let's go for a rubber hammer real quick. 30. So we could go and say, okay, stamina is going to be a problem. So I'm going to go for, I'm going to record this and go F8. Oh, my bad. I want to make sure that I am recording this now. Oh, I messed up. Okay, I knew I tapped the key a little too softly. So I'll go F8 right now. Use the spin. Boom. All right. Now we stop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and stop. All right. Now we start it up again, and we go boom. Now we have the spin move this time. It's cheaper, it's more effective. They're going to be corralling me anyway, so this is going to be a better way, a better move for me to use overnight without spending too much stamina, without having to struggle. And this is much more effective than, let's say, spamming a move that costs too much for your character to actually pull off. So right now he's pretty much regenning just as much as stamina, or even more stamina than he's actually using or putting out. He's going to take some damage, but the difference between my Luffy and any other character is the fact that this Luffy does have vampirism, so he will get HP back. Now, there are going to be some cases where you do put yourself in a bad position. Like I said, just even out the odds. If you really feel like this specific character, or if a very specific character does not abide by the rules, and it's gonna either like underperform or overperform to the point where it just ends up struggling too much or it dies too quickly, and that in that point you just kind of want to say, hey, maybe it's time to invest in like getting the game pass of sharing stamina instead, because it just might be the better way for you to do it. Because I mean, sharing exp, due to the fact that it is definitely worth a bang for your buck. Do I wish it was 100% exp? Yeah, but then that would be like way too easy, if I'm totally honest. Even a 75% cut is being generous. So, yeah, just keep in mind, know your strengths. If these dudes are beating you up too much, go down to the Namekians and be like, hey, Namekian, Namek Saga, let's just roll with those guys instead, and then just kind of like see where you could go from there. Uh, yeah. Well, freaking, I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell down below. I hope to see you guys later. Yeah, take it easy and peace out, dudes.